So, most of the stories I tell on this channel take place back when I was, usually between the ages of 13 and 21 or where most of my stories take place. I have some that are above 21 and some that are below 13, but most of the time that is the age range in which my story times take place. But today's story time is one that takes place a long time ago, back when I was 10 years old. Now, before I get into it, this isn't about the babysitter that you all know and love. Or maybe you don't love her, but you definitely know about her. That is a whole different series on this channel. This is a different babysitter. But it's definitely equally as crazy, so I hope you enjoy it. Leave a like on the video if you do. I'm very excited to tell this one. Let's get into it. So today's story time all takes place, like I said, back when I was 10 years old. Now, 10 years old, a lot of kids don't need a babysitter. But in my circumstances, I actually had to have one because my brother kept sneaking out at the time, and my mom didn't want him to sneak out anymore, so she hired a babysitter to watch us when she was out. And yeah, it was a Saturday night. It was the summertime, so me and my brothers didn't have school at this point, and my mom wanted to go out on Saturday with some of her friends to a restaurant, so she hired this babysitter to come and watch me and my brothers. So fast forward, the babysitter gets to our house, my mom leaves to go out to dinner, left the babysitter some money to order pizza, and after my mom left, we just went down to the basement and started playing some Xbox, and the babysitter stayed upstairs in my mom's room just watching TV. I think even the babysitter kind of knew that we didn't really need a babysitter and that she was just there to make sure we didn't sneak out. So she wasn't really on our tails about anything. She wasn't on our case 24/7. She just kind of chilled upstairs, ate dinner, and kicked it and watched TV, and we stayed in the basement. Well, about an hour later, okay, at this point, my mom's been gone for an hour, the babysitter's still upstairs, she's watching TV, me and my brothers are playing Xbox in the basement. Your boy starts getting hungry. I start getting a little bit of an appetite. So I venture upstairs, and I go and start looking for some food. And I'm just going through the pantry, going through the fridge, trying to find some food, and I can't find shit. There's literally nothing. There's just nothing in my house to eat. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. My babysitter got left money for pizza. So I wander on over to my mom's bedroom. That's where the babysitter is, watching TV. I poke my head through the door, and I see something that I did not expect to see. I poke my head through the door, and I see the babysitter sitting at my mom's work desk with her head, leaned over on the glass of the desk, and she's snorting something. Now, I may have been 10 years old, but I was not born yesterday, okay? I knew what she was doing, and I couldn't believe I was seeing it at such a young age. So I had two choices. I turn around and I walk away and act like I didn't see anything, or I say, hey, what are you doing? Now, me being 10 years old and being nosy, I was like, hey, what are you doing? And my babysitter immediately whipped her head around and looked at me with the biggest look of fear I've ever seen and guilt. And she immediately wipes all the white powder off the desk and was like, oh, I'm sorry, nothing. I was just doing some paperwork. And I was like, paperwork, huh? And the babysitter's like, yeah, paperwork. And I was like, didn't know paperwork involved white powder. And she immediately looked at me with the look of, oh shit, I'm fucked. And she stands up and she runs over to me and she's like, Austin, I am so freaking sorry, but please do not tell your mom about this. She will ruin my life. And I was like, I don't know how I'm the one telling you this, but that's bad. And she's like, I know, I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to study and I'm trying to stay awake and it was wrong. I'm sorry. And I was like, okay. And I turn around and I start walking out of the room and she's like, where are you going? And I was like, downstairs. I'm going to go play Xbox. And she's like, are you going to tell your mom? And I was like, no. And she's like, okay, thank you so much. And I walked away. Now I walk downstairs. I sit back down with my brothers. I continue playing some Halo, just chilling there playing Xbox with them. And I had this stupid smile on my face. Back when I was a kid and I learned something that I shouldn't have, or if I saw something that I shouldn't have, I would always get this look on my face of I know something you don't know. You know what I mean? Some real child secret keeping shit, right? And my brother saw this on my face and he's like, Austin, why do you have a stupid smirk on your face? And I was like, nothing. And he's like, Austin, cut the shit. Tell me what you know. And I was like, nothing. He goes, what did you just see? What happened? And I was like, okay, but if I tell you, you gotta promise not to tell anybody. He's like, I won't. So I whisper in his ear. And he's like, holy shit, are you kidding me? And I was like, no, I'm not kidding. He's like, you're not lying right now? You're not joking? And when all of my other brothers heard that, they wanted to know what I was talking about. So I just told all my brothers. I was like, yep, she was hunched over the desk, snorting up some white powder to stay awake. You can guess what it is. And they were all like, are you serious? And I was like, yep. Now, for the most part, all of us kind of just didn't really care that much. Even though it was very wrong for a babysitter to be doing that while watching children, I don't think any of us really cared that much as we should have probably. But one of my brothers, the oldest one to be specific, always loved like one-upping my mom in arguments. So later that night when my mom got home, my oldest brother and her got into an argument about something that was like kind of serious. I think they were fighting about him not having a job or something or not paying rent. And they started getting a little bit personal, you know, like my oldest brother said some things he definitely regret. My mom said some things she probably would regret. And my oldest brother just wanted to like hit her where it hurts. So he was like, you know what? At least I'm not such a bad brother that I don't hire drug addicts to watch my little brother like you did tonight. And my mom immediately went from being like angry at him to like, what the hell are you talking about? And that's what she said. She was like, what are you talking about? What drug addict? Like what, the babysitter? And he's like, yeah, Austin caught her snorting something up her nose tonight on your desk. And my mom looked at me and was like, is this true? And now I'm sitting there like thinking to myself, what have I done? Like I created such a huge dramatic situation. But honestly, looking back, it wasn't my fault. It was the babysitter's fault for doing it, but whatever. And I was like, yeah, it's true. It's true, Mom. And without hesitation, my mom picks up the phone and calls the cops on this girl. Now, I didn't think she was going to do that. I thought she might have like fired her or like told her parents because she was only like 18. But nah, she called the cops on her. And I felt kind of shitty about that. But like I said, at the same time, it's kind of the babysitter's fault for doing it to begin with. So the cops pulled up to my house like 10 minutes later. They came into the house. My mom explained the situation. Then they talked to me and I had to explain the situation. And then they went into my mom's room and like swept up the small amount of white powder that was left on her desk by the babysitter. And once they saw that, they knew that like, you know, they probably had a case here. So they went to the babysitter's house after my house and like interviewed her and interviewed her parents. And they found her stash. Well, actually, they didn't find it. She just gave it up immediately. Like as soon as they started questioning her, she just admitted to everything and showed them where she had it. And she got in trouble. And when I mean in trouble, she got arrested. They put her ass in cuffs and put her in jail. Now, she didn't go to jail for a very long time. She was in there for probably like, I don't know, 9 or 10 hours before she got bailed out. And from that point on, she just had to pay a bunch of fines because even though she had a very, very illegal drug with her, it wasn't a lot. And she was pretty young, so I think they went easy on her. And she had to pay a bunch of fines and went to jail for a short amount of time. But there was one good thing that came out of all of this. Out of all this whole fucked up situation, there was one good thing that happened. I didn't have a babysitter for a long time after that. Shortly after, I did get a babysitter again because then I started sneaking out a lot. My mom wanted to keep that from happening. But we didn't have a babysitter for a while after that because my mom was like afraid to hire one. And I don't blame her. If I found out someone was doing you know what off of my desk that I hired to watch my house and my kids, I'd be pretty upset and I wouldn't want to hire another one right away. But guys, there is a moral to this story. If you're a babysitter or if you're just anybody, not even just a babysitter, if you're just anybody in the world, stay away from snorting stuff up your nose, especially when it comes to hard drugs. Don't touch that shit. But yeah, guys, that's the end of the story. That is how I got my babysitter arrested. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I will see you guys all later. Peace.
I'm in a bad mood, I can see it today. I remember all my friends and now I'm all that remains. I got some bad news, gotta go, I can't